Hold it. Stop right there. Heart was so lame. It was so bad. We've got to acknowledge that before we go any further. I mean, what the hell was Heart anyway?
It is a little hard to explain.
You're damn right, Kwame. But by our powers combined, we're gonna figure out what Heart is and explore why it's the lamest power of all time.
The worst.
Yeah. This is everything you didn't know about Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, he's our hero, gonna take pollution down to zero.
Captain Planet was the brainchild of entertainment mogul and environmental philanthropist Ted Turner, aka the self-proclaimed second smartest thing on the planet. Wait, then what's the smartest thing on the planet?
Okay, Ted, what's the smartest thing on the planet? He said, cartoons.
Cartoons. Yeah, it's obvious. They're so smart.
Are you alright, Screechy?
Fabulosa, babe! What's going on?
Except for Screechy. Ted Turner was a serious environmental activist, donating $1 billion to humanitarian efforts like the United Nations Foundation. He created Captain Planet in 1990 for TBS as a way to teach children about real-world environmental crises like deforestation, oil spills, global warming, nuclear waste, and depressed pandas.
His wounds should heal, but it appears his heart may not.
Which is very sad. Captain Planet was the longest-running animated show of the 1990s, running from 1990 to 1996. Over that time, it changed animation studios, switching from DiC to Hanna-Barbera in 1993, when it also changed titles from Captain Planet and the Planeteers to The New Adventures of Captain Planet.
What's going on?
I don't know, weird clown, but it somehow lasted 113 episodes, following Captain Planet and the Planeteers as they fought to save the planet from countless eco-emergencies, conventional evil villain schemes, and Mati's pity parties.
Everyone always has to help me because I am so small. I am nothing but trouble. You would all be better off without me.
Wait! Mati! Hey, what's wrong with him?
I'm too short to be effective. Was this written by Tom Cruise? Zing, he's famously short. Also, segue, because Tom Cruise was this close to voicing the titular hero, Captain Planet, which is probably why Captain Planet bears a striking resemblance to the actor, though I think he looks more like 50% Colossus from the X-Men and 50% Codpiece.
Captain Planet.
Give the guy some jorts or something. God, cover that up. Cruise actually voiced the first 6 episodes, but bailed because he wanted more creative control over the project, probably so he didn't have to say stuff like this.
Surely there are other things beside profit that are important to a man of your means.
So instead of switching voices for our beloved captain midway through the first season, producers re-recorded his lines with voice actor David Coburn, who appeared in Star Trek The Next Generation as Ensign Pointy Sideburns.
Transmitting commands. Thermal levels increasing, sir.
Wait a second. Is that a subtle callback to Captain Planet? Because check out Cap's sideburns here.
Super! Come on, Planeteers!
Also pointy, very subtle, which is the last time I'll ever say that about anything related to this show. That's because Captain Planet was the most overt, on-the-nose show that ever existed. Do you think I'm exaggerating?
We didn't make the mess, so why don't we have to clean it up?
Because we care, my sweet imperialist dog. Besides, some rewards are greater than money.
I mean, the Planeteers were based out of Hope Island.
Welcome to Hope Island.
Hope Island. I mean, it's like having a show about environmental activism and naming a villain, oh, I don't know, something way too obvious, like Captain Pollution, but who would do that?
By your polluting powers combined, I am Captain Pollution!
Captain Planet was hugely popular and influenced a generation of millennials to actually care about environmental causes. But I still stand by my position that Captain Planet was so over the top about its environmentalism that it killed the silly tradition of the kids' cartoon PSA for good.
AIDS is a terrible epidemic plaguing our world, but 2 things make it even worse: ignorance and fear.
PSAs were a staple of kids' cartoons throughout the 80s. Who could forget G.I. Joe's knowing is half the battle segments, which offered cringeworthy advice?
I'm running away from home. My parents are mean. Where'll you go? I'm not sure, but I'll show them.
That's right. You'll show them how mean you can be.
Shipwreck!
Isn't it better to try to solve problems instead of running away from them?
PSAs reached their apex in 1990's Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, a truly insane spectacular that everyone should hate watch right now. It's a 30-minute special featuring iconic cartoon characters like Bugs Bunny, the Ninja Turtles, Garfield, Alf, and more, who told a generation of horrified children how to say no to drugs through song. Kinda like We Are the World, but the cartoon version, and about drugs.
Something to make you feel real good.
It's brilliant, wow, that wonderful way to say no. No, sir!
If you pound the best of your time, here's a practical reply. Go ahead, let's right in his eye and say no!
Captain Planet was basically this video for 6 seasons. Its preachy message wasn't just reserved for NPSA segments, the whole show was one long, over-the-top PSA. It's right there in the opening, week after week.
Our world is in peril. Gaia, the spirit of the earth, can no longer stand the terrible destruction plaguing our planet.
Don't get me wrong, it was a worthy message, and one the world needed. After all, Chernobyl happened in 1986, the Exxon Valdez spill was 1989, and the Amazon was heavily deforested throughout the decade. It was not a good time for the planet. It just created a weird juxtaposition of wacky kids cartoon talking about touchy adult subjects that they really shouldn't, like gang violence or writing realistic street slang.
Cool out, Jackson, that's my brother, Ronnie. Don't sweat it, dog. I ain't gonna smoke, Ronnie, but we've gotta show those evil educators that this is our turn.
The Northern Ireland conflict.
You could have hurt somebody. So what? It's a Protestant place.
And of course...
What are you doing with that barbarian?
Just ensuring a better future.
Hey, Fuhrer, arrest these geo-jerks or they'll spoil everything.
Wow, happy stuff. Anyway, after this show, cartoons largely dropped the PSAs, which is a good thing. Viewers didn't tune into Captain Planet for its dicey political commentary, but rather for its lovable cast of characters, like entertainment mogul Fred Lerner, there's that subtlety again, who was Ted Turner playing himself. And man, was he humble.
Print, television, and film have made me what I am today.
A giant in the industry?
Aside from that gratuitous cameo, Planet's main characters were a racially diverse group of heroes rarely seen in American cartoons. Take Captain Planet. The writers specifically sought to make an ethnically ambiguous superhero that could represent everyone.
Hey, chill out, Nukem. The Iceman Cayman.
Despite his terrible puns, Captain Planet had awesome powers. He had superhuman strength, invincibility to heat and cold, could survive in space, change his molecular structure, and even shoot giant rainbow lasers.
I need all my powers combined.
But his greatest power of all was whatever the plot decided. Then there's Gaia, the natural spirit of planet Earth, voiced by Whoopi Goldberg.
So much for drama.
She wakes up one day to discover the planet in bad shape and creates 5 power rings to entrust worthy kids from around the world.
World's greatest hope.
She can appear anywhere, anytime, which is super convenient for providing exposition.
Gaia, what is wrong?
Hoggish Greedley is putting a golf resort in the desert.
So, what's wrong with that?
Wheeler's right. Speaking of which, Wheeler is a brash, Brooklyn-born hothead, which makes sense considering his power ring controls fire. And he's always quick with a quip.
Ta-da! Okay, Planeteers, time to do our yabba-dabba duty.
Yeesh, what do I say to that?
Gee, you don't think they'd leave just cause of a little fallout? Shut up. Shut up!
Bingo! But we'll cut him a little slack since he has a tragic backstory, like every other member of the Planeteers. Apparently the main requirement for being a member was having a pure heart and serious childhood PTSD. Just ask Linka about her cousin Boris.
Boris, it's me, Linka! Wake up!
Linka, he's dead.
No, no, no!
Yikes, is this a kid's cartoon or Days of Our Lives? Jeez. Wheeler was raised by an abusive alcoholic father.
Try harder or don't come back. You no good loser.
Though they reconcile in later episodes over a super jazzy instrumental track. Back to Linka, who faced many of her own struggles, like the death of Boris, R.I.P., the fall of the Soviet Union, and playing her enormous keyboard on a moving bus. That's really hard.
One, like your music, Linka.
Her power ring wields wind, which she uses to keep Wheeler at a distance since he's always hitting on her.
Hey, love your accent, babe.
Like many of the other Planeteers, Linka defies expectations. She's the intellectual of the group who took action into her own hands.
Linka, we came to rescue you.
Oh, this must be a new rescue method.
Producers based her on German Green Party candidate Petra Kelly. Very heady stuff. While Guy, the Planeteer's resident water expert, was based on Malaysian UN delegate Chi Yoke Ling. Guy was a trailblazer, a female Asian lead in a hit animated show long before Disney's Mulan and the Yellow Power Ranger. She's the daughter of marine biologists and has a special bond with a dolphin named Chisa. Now, knowing this morbid show, you know that dolphin is pretty screwed from the start.
What have they done to you?
That dolphin squeal is horrifying. What's up with this show? Just get dolphin noises. Guy was meant to give a voice to all of Asia since her country of origin is never revealed. We do know she speaks Mandarin and Japanese, is a great swimmer, but a bad game show contestant.
Conserve water.
Is it there? No!
Then there's Ma-Ti, the youngest Planeteer and also the owner of the lamest power. That's right, heart.
So bad.
It is not good, I know. It gives him telepathy, the ability to communicate with his pet monkey, calming power, and GPS, I guess.
Heart! That way!
What a bummer, too, because there really aren't that many. What are you doing?
I can't.
What?
I've been carrying this around for like 29 years. As a Latin 8-year-old little boy in the 90s, Monty was like the first Latin character we got on TV in a cartoon. And they gave him the superpower they could have thought about. They could have given him fire. There's fire in South America. They could have given him water. There's water everywhere. They could have gave him earth. There's rocks, there's trees. And they still gave him heart? What the is that?
I agree.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Are you good?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least he had that cute little pet monkey who can have full conversations with birds, right? He was great.
No.
No, he actually was cool, and that I won't stand for.
Suchi, after them.
In later seasons, the full power of the heart ring became more apparent. In Two Futures Part 2, Wheeler travels to a dystopian future where the world is in ruins and Ma-Ti uses his heart power to control the minds of people for his own gain.
Thank you, senor.
It implies that Ma-Ti was given the heart ring because he wouldn't be tempted to use its substantial powers. Does that make it better? That's kind of cool.
I guess.
Yeah?
Don't thank me. The real hero's Ma-Ti.
Yeah, thanks for not brainwashing us. That's actually cool. Ma-Ti was voiced by Robin from Teen Titans Go, Scott Menville, where he also had a Napoleon complex.
Fear not, my countrymen, for I am not short.
Last but not least is the unofficial leader of the group, Kwame. He's an orphan from Africa who controls Earth, which basically means rocks. Also, he gets to say the show's coolest catchphrase.
Let our powers combine.
Let our powers combine perfectly conveys the show's strongest theme, unity, which really shone through each episode despite the hokey storylines and even cheesier villains.
So, did you bring the money?
Who is this, Plunder? Temporary help.
Yeah, and it's payday.
All of whom are so on the nose, you can guess their defining trait just by their names alone. There was Hoggish Greedly. A greedy pig? Who would have thought? I never would have guessed. Then there's Verminous Scum. Gasp! A rat! What a shock! And no, Verminous Scum isn't related to Salacious Crumb, though you might think. They look like cousins to me, but they're not related. Also, there's Duke Nukem, who blows stuff up and has a real grasp of the changing TV landscape.
Forget the prop! Reality television's what sells!
And no, he's not that Duke Nukem from the video game. Actually, Captain Planet thought of the name first, but they forgot to copyright it, so the video game swooped in and claimed the rights.
Don't have time to play with myself.
And there's Luton Plunder, who likes to, get this, loot and plunder. What? Who came up with these crazy names? It certainly wasn't Ted Turner. All he did was come up with the name Captain Planet, and then he told executive producer Barbara Pyle to figure the rest of the show out. Pyle was an environmental activist, documentarian, and a hell of an orator.
The challenge is great, the task is difficult, the time is now, and the power is ours. Go Planet!
She was the vice president of Being a Badass, as well as the VP of Environmental Policy at TBS when Turner tasked her with developing Captain Planet. And it was her idea to base the Planeteers on real-life activists. But not all of the great ideas belonged to her. It was producer Nick Boxer who came up with the lyrics to Captain Planet's amazing theme song.
Captain Planet, he's our hero, gonna take pollution down to zero.
Man, I could watch that all day. I'm serious, just keep rolling.
He's our powers magnified, and he's fighting on the planet side.
Though, just like the tragedies that befall our main heroes, a tragedy awaited that theme song when they changed it in the 6th season to this monstrosity.
Captain Planet, he's the man, leading the Chargers' #1 fan. Check him out, you're gonna see. He's the Mega Mac Daddy of ecology.
Mega Mac Daddy of ecology? That's so bad I could watch it all day. Seriously, continue, I wanna.
Captain the hero with the gumption takes on the overpopulation and consumption.
Ew, that's enough. I can't take it anymore. It sucks. And you know who else couldn't take it anymore? It's star-studded voice actors, many of whom dropped out of the series, probably because of that theme song. Just kidding, no. It turned out just to be too big of a commitment. Some of the big names to lend their voices to earlier seasons and then drop out included Jeff Goldblum as Verminous Scum, Dean Stockwell as Duke Nukem, Martin Sheen as Sly Sludge, Sting and Malcolm McDowell both did stints as the villain Zarm, and Meg Ryan as Dr. Blight. Even though they all left because they're like pretty busy people, that doesn't mean there weren't any stars left. Tim Curry stuck around the show's whole run, playing Mal, Dr. Blight's smooth-talking AI.
You make my disc spin.
Ditto, my digital darling.
Also, Ed Asner stayed on to play Hoggish Greedley and the ghost of Porcaloin Pass.
I am the ghost of the Porcaloin Pass. You must reform your greedly ways.
And of course, there was LeVar Burton, who played Kwame. At least he didn't have to deal with any annoying dogs on this show.
Come on, give me a break here. Go lay down!
And there were plenty of awesome one-off guest appearances, including Neil Patrick Harris, Vanna White, Phyllis Diller, Dionne Warwick, Casey Kasem, Robert Patrick, Danny Glover, and Phil Hartman as Linka's large Uncle Dimitri, who just wants Boris to comb his hair.
Get dressed and I will make Linka my famous blintzes for breakfast. And Boris, for once, please comb your hair.
While Ted Turner's original idea for Captain Planet was essentially a 20-minute PSA about the environment, it unfortunately failed to save it, we think, but it's not looking good. It was a nice try though, and it gave back in a lot of other ways. For one, it inspired executive producer Barbara Pyle to create the Captain Planet Foundation, a nonprofit that raises awareness for environmental causes, and by extension, the show may have inspired the most environmentally conscious generation fighting the good fight today. And also, it killed cartoon PSAs for good.
So if you're planning to bring fruits, plants, or animals back from vacation, make sure they're not in danger.
And that it's safe to transport them from their natural habitat.
The power is yours!
No, I hate it. Mine is the power to punch something in my Captain Planet video game. Yes, that's right. If you still need that Captain Planet fix, you can beat up bad guys in the Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion, available on all platforms. Or you could catch him in his short-lived comic book run in Marvel Comics. And who knows, maybe there will even be a movie one day. I don't know, seems likely, I would say, although many have tried and failed to get it off the ground. Until then, just go watch the Don Cheadle Funny or Die sketch. It's like Captain Planet meets Breaking Bad.
I can't let you do this, Captain.
Anybody else want to go green?
I've always wanted to see Captain Planet meets Breaking Bad. That's pretty funny.
Don't summon me again unless you're ready for that pain.
Who was your favorite Planeteer? I mean, I know it's insane, but mine might have actually been Hart, because he had pets, and I loved my pets. There's something wrong with me. Anyway, let us know in the comments who you identified with the most. Did you enjoy learning everything you didn't know about Captain Planet? Well, guess what? We have new episodes every other week, so subscribe so you don't miss any. And also, click over here to watch our past episodes. You're gonna learn a lot.